All righty then. Welcome to the call. I'm Steve Beck in Morris, Illinois. And I get to start off, as always, with a few musical selections while we're getting going and kick off the call with our signature message. You all know it. Some of you newer folks, if you don't have a copy of it, talk to your sponsor and make sure that you have it as well, because it's something that you're going to want to learn, personalize, and memorize. You'll use it constantly. It goes like this. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs, each with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and our world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we're looking for help. And with that, I get to turn the Zoom over to one of the two ladies who organizes this for us every week. Out of Greeley, Colorado, our friend, mentor, executive director, Dani Goeden. Dani, it's all yours.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Success Partners Team Zoom 2.0. Leigh is not able to join us this week, just like I wasn't able to join us last week. So we have another extra special Zoom for you in store. So I'm super excited for that. I'm really looking forward to hearing from our one and only Timmer Halligan later this call. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to our story facilitator, Miss Annette Zobar.
Thank you so much, Dani and Steve. That was a great idea about time. All those music. Anyway, it is time. My name is Annette Zobar, Gulfport, Mississippi, background QuickBooks consulting. So why is it we do this every week? Well, stories are really important. They share our incredible impact that Legal Shield has on the lives of both members and associates. They help us connect with our prospects. And they are especially important because you can borrow these stories that you're about to hear. No matter if you're new or you're around, pay attention to how the story is told, who told it, and their background. You might even want to contact them for a three-way call if their story will speak to a prospect. So we're first going to go back to Colorado and hear from Ms. Dani Goeden.
Well, hello again, everybody. Yes. So I recently saw somebody on Facebook. She was complaining about a contractor was holding her cabinets hostage until she paid final payment. And she's like, that was not part of the contract. The contract says I will pay final payment upon satisfaction of the cabinets. And he was like, no, I'm not going to return them. And after 3 weeks, she finally posted on Facebook and she's like, what do I do? And I contacted her and I said, this is what I have done in the past when I've had contractors not follow through. And I shared with her the Legal Shield information and she ended up signing up. And within 2 days, the law firm had a letter out on her behalf. And she called me tonight saying that the gentleman is releasing her cabinets. And if it's not complete to her satisfaction, that she will get a full refund. How powerful is that? I mean, literally, I just put a law firm in her pocket and saved her thousands of dollars. Back to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Dani. Great story on two levels. One, the awesome work the law firm did, and the other level is how Dani was able to prospect a person through Facebook and made it happen. So we're now going to go to Morris, Illinois to hear from Mr.
Well, when you said Morris, I knew it was going to be one of two of us. Thanks, Annette. I had a lady in my B&I chapter who's heard me talk about Legal Shield for probably close to 4 years. And although she was kind enough to send me several good referrals, she never saw the service as something she needed for herself. Then sadly, last spring, her husband died unexpectedly and he died without a will. So her perspective suddenly changed. She came to me and she said, can Legal Shield help me? I need help settling my late husband's estate. And so I explained very quickly what they could do for her. She signed up for a membership. There were certain things they couldn't do because it was a pre-existing situation that he had passed before she became a member. But they walked her through everything she needed to know. And when there were things that would have cost her a 25% discount situation, they informed her of that up front and then let her decide how to proceed. She was enthralled, totally thrilled with the process, extremely relieved of all the stress that goes into doing something like that. And she's a very happy member, and she continues to send great referrals. Back to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Steve. That's another great story. How Steve was able to just keep presenting her information, and people are ready when they're ready. So I was there when she was ready. Thanks again for both of you. So now you have 2 more stories to add to your resources. And I know each one of you on the Zoom have more stories. So please, please, please get in touch with me so we can share them with the team. Back to you, Goeden.
All right. Well, thank you, Annette. It is so good when you do have stories. I mean, when you guys have stories in your pockets, that's how we offer the membership. Stories sell, facts tell. So use those stories. All right. Well, I'm going to get myself out of the way because I'm really excited. I really appreciate Mr. Halligan for stepping up and offering to help with the training tonight. We are going to have a training, and I am really excited to hear what he has put together for us. So, Mr. Halligan, the Zoom is yours.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Dani. And what a great Zoom we've had so far tonight. Let me get my video up here. And I'm always excited to be able to chat with the folks that are on this team. What an amazing Zoom already tonight. I mean, just the stories that we have. I mean, if you really break this business down to its simplest form, it is about the membership. First and foremost, you got to have faith in the membership. You've got to believe in the membership. You've got to trust the membership. You've got to use the membership to be able to understand the power that goes along with it. So I love each and every week when we have the stories. And, tonight what I wanted to talk about, Dani was, listen, I can't wait to hear what Timmer's going to say. And, what great things can we possibly, pull out and be able to do. And let me tell you, as I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about this business, I've been with this company now for 17 years. And I think about all the different times that I've had in this business, some good times, some tough times, some bad times, some amazing times. It's just part of the journey of what it is that we do. And I always go back to what is it that grounds your business? What is it that gives your business the best opportunity to be able to grow? What is it that if you stay consistent with it, it's always going to work? Now, consistency is not the easiest thing in the world to do. I mean, there's so many things that can, knock us off track with what it is that we're doing. And one thing I definitely know is that, the stairway to success is never a straight line, right? It always feels like you're climbing uphill. But we've got a system here with Legal Shield that can navigate through any obstacle, that you may run into. And it's interesting, Jim Rohn said this, decades ago, and it's so true today, right? He didn't even get a chance to live to see, where network marketing is today, but he said it was the big wave of the future. And it's taking the place of franchising, which now requires too much capital for the average person. So, and it's so true. I mean, $189 billion was sold in goods and services through network marketing last year. And so what I want to talk about tonight, and we're going to have a quick exercise in here, but how do you make a living with Legal Shield, and how can you make a fortune? Neither one of them is a wrong answer. Every one of them is true to whatever your goal is and what it is that you want to get accomplished. Well, if you want to make a good living in Legal Shield, just sell the membership and be in Performance Club. Now, because if you can be in Performance Club Pro every single month, you hit the director level, you're making $1,000 to $1,300, and you'll hit the director level. If you started today and went out and just the thing key about building teams and selling memberships, the steps are so similar. They are so similar. And we're going to talk more about those in just a second. But you sell memberships, you be in Performance Club. If you're out there writing 3 to 4 memberships a month, within 12 months, you've already hit, probably the senior manager position. And by your 18th month, you've hit director. You're now earning residual income on all of the memberships that you've already written, especially under this new comp plan. So you're going to start getting residual income that comes into your bank account flowing in, when in about 1 year, when this new October compensation plan kicks in a year from now. So if you just started marketing memberships and be in Performance Club, you're going to make $15,000 to $20,000 a year. I promise you that. How do I know that? I did that for the first 5 years in Legal Shield, maybe 6 years. I just marketed the membership. I told a whole lot of people. Why? Because it works. You heard the stories tonight. I think about the story Dan Johnson told a couple of weeks ago, $23,000 that didn't have to come out of his pocket, to take care of a situation with the city. We heard the stories tonight. I think about, stories that other folks have shared. I think about the stories that I have. So why wouldn't you tell a whole lot of people about Legal Shield? And if you want to build a fortune in Legal Shield, you want to create a large network of distribution points. I don't remember who said this many, many years ago. I was at a Legal Shield event and they were talking about Walmart. Why do you not only see one Walmart? Well, they had distribution points in every single state. And now when you think about what Amazon has done, it just blows my mind what Amazon does. I can go into a Whole Foods today and I can return a shirt that my wife bought on Amazon and it goes right into my account, the money, and I get credited for it. I mean, it's like they just made it so simple. But large networks of distribution points, that's how Amazon's able to do it. They have multiple large distribution points, all across the United States and really all across the world. And so, as you take a look at what you need to do in both of these, the first thing you have to do is you've got to create a rock solid list and you've got to keep adding to it. So here's what we're going to do for 5 minutes. I hope everybody's got a pen. My goal is to see if we can come up with 100 names in the next 5 minutes. So I'm going to kind of go off this memory jogger that I have here. I want you to grab yourself your pen, grab a piece of paper. I'm going to set this timer for 5 minutes. And then when we finish, you're going to put together how many we had, people you were able to write down on this list that we're going to start right now. How many of those people you were able to write down? You're just going to write the total number in the chat. If you can't keep up, just leave a little hash mark because you do know somebody in that particular area. But we're going to go 5 minutes starting right now. First thing is who is your auto mechanic? Can you write that down? Who is your accountant? Do you know one person at your bank? Who is somebody that was a babysitter for you or currently is for you? Where did you buy your car from? What dealership? Who is your dentist? Who is your doctor? Now we've got multiple doctors. You got, certain doctors that women go to exclusively. You got general people that you go to. You got pediatricians that you take your kids to. Where do you take your dry cleaning? Where do you get your gas most often? Who's your hairstylist? Who's your insurance agent? Who's your pharmacist? Who's your real estate agent? Do you know somebody who's in computers and IT? Do you know somebody who's a chiropractor? Do you know somebody at your club, whether it's a fitness club, a gym club? Do you know somebody at your Kiwanis? Do you know somebody at your Lions Club? Who do you take to get your dog groomed? Who do you know that's a photographer? Who is your veterinarian? Who's a former coach? Who's somebody you were formerly a coach for? Who's a former coworker? Just write these down. Take your time. Just jot through them real quick. If you know there's somebody in that area that just put a hash mark. We're trying to get to 100 people that we know in 5 minutes. Who do you know it's in the military? Who sold you your air conditioner, your boat, your business cards, your camper, your cell phone, your dishwasher? Who got you your glasses or your contacts? Who sold you your house? Who sold you your last set of tires? Who sold you your vacuum cleaner? Who do you know that's ambitious? Who do you know that's enthusiastic? Who do you know that's fun, who's friendly, who's a single mom or dad? Who do you know that lives in Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, West Virginia. Who do you know that lives in those particular places? Who do you know that was a loan officer, got your mortgage from them? Did you ever take your kids to a karate class, kickboxing? You know, somebody who is a manicurist, who do you go get your nails done with? What about a massage therapist? Somebody who's in your pastor or your minister or works in your church. Do you know a member of your church who put on your kids' braces? Who did the painting in your house? Did you ever have to go to physical therapy? Do you know anybody who's a piano teacher, a police officer, a postal worker, a psychologist? So you know somebody who's a handyman or a car salesman or somebody who fixes shoes, somebody who's a singer, somebody who drives for Uber, somebody who drives for Lyft, somebody who's a school teacher, someone who's a tennis instructor, someone who's a graphic artist, somebody who works in golfing, somebody who's a florist, somebody who's an electrician, somebody who drives a bus, somebody who's a cook. That gives us 5 minutes. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you just to put into the chat right now, how many folks that you come up with in that 5 minutes time. Type in the chat how many people that you were able to just come up with. Steve Beck, 52. Wow. Go Steve. Anybody else? 33. There we go. Right. 85 already. Who else? 27. Dan. Holy cow. Paul, 71. Can't even keep track of that. We're at 90. We're at 130, 120, 50. Whoa. Up around 200 so far. So obviously we just found in less than 5 minutes, we were able to, come up with well over 200 names. So you create that rock solid list, and congratulations, everybody. When's the last time that you sat down and just pulled out a memory jogger and asked yourself the question, who do I know? Linda Beck, 63, Bridget Baquette Parker, 62, Brenda, 45, Paul, 71, Robert Bagley, 21, Dan, 27. That is so awesome. Ted Wilson, 77. Guys, see, what you've just done is you've done the list building exercise. But here's the thing. We don't spend enough time sitting down and actually going through the memory jogger. And I'll make sure I post the memory jogger on the Team Ascent Facebook page. So you've got this list. Now what you got to do? You've got to invite a whole lot of people to come and look at information. Listen, all of you people that just wrote down names, I think Linda Beck, 73. You got 73 people that that you can invite them to come look at some information. Now, you got to get that process figured out. And it's really not all that difficult of a process, but it's just about saying, okay, I'm going to ask these people, first I may have to get back to getting to know them, right? Maybe you haven't talked to them in a long, long time. Maybe just today you went, oh my gosh, I forgot about that person. I remember them from years ago. Well, you've got to go start building the relationship with you. Hey, how are you? How are things? What's going on? How's life? You're going to come around in that conversation with them on, so what are you up to? Are you still working in that particular industry? Maybe you knew they were in industry, or are you still doing that today? And they may say, no, I'm doing this. Well, that sounds exciting. And then you're looking for this opportunity where they're going to say to you, so what are you doing? You're going to say, well, I've been working with this company for a few years now, a couple of years now, a couple of months now, a couple of days now. I don't know, however long you've been with Legal Shield. And you say, I'm pretty excited. It's a great company. And they'll say, what is it? You say, it's a company called Legal Shield. And you say to them, hey, listen, what are you doing on this particular night? You can figure out the logistics. You just got to do the activity. You will get better at the invitation. You'll just get better at it. You go, hey, what are you doing on Tuesday night? Hey, you look for the opportunity. It's kind of like a running back in football. I mean, for a while they can run straight forward. Then you learn to see the holes and you learn to move inside and be able to juke and go left and right and everything else. You'll learn how to insert the invitation. You got to do a whole lot of inviting, and you determine the speed of your growth. There's no right, wrong answer or not. I mean, I think about Brian Carruthers inviting 200 people in 3 days to look at the information. And then I think John Drennan had said, he got 200 people in the first, 3 months or 5 months or 12 months or something like that. And both have done extremely well, right, in this business. So you determine the speed in which you want to begin the invitation process, and you determine, the speed of your growth. Then they got to watch or see something. They have to watch or see something. Now that seeing could be you sitting down with them, right? Doing a one-on-one, showing them a presentation. That seeing, could be you get them onto a Zoom presentation. That could also be called watching. The watching is you send them a video to be able to take a look at. If you haven't seen the new video in Prospect Legal by Legal Shield, for the opportunity, it is phenomenal. So you definitely want to get that. So then you got to get them to watch, or you have to get them to see something. Now, this one right here, folks, is you got to just really work on getting people onto a three-way call. I cannot stress enough. I still remember today, Kathy Aaron, many, many years ago, Platinum Executive Director with us, just extraordinary person, said one day you can measure your business on your three-way calls. And, I've been on calls, 2 or 3 times in the last 2 or 3 days talking about three-way calls. And it's a necessary step. It's like non-negotiable. It's like putting the bolts on the tire after you get brand new tires. I mean, could you imagine going to Discount Tire and just saying, put the tires on, I don't need the bolts, I'm just going to drive away. Well, you may get home, but most likely one of the tires is going to fall off. See, the three-way call is the bolt. It's what kind of brings everything together in the recruiting process. It's another opportunity to get on the phone with them, and it's not just you talking to them. It's somebody else that you've introduced to them so you can have a conversation. It gives somebody else the opportunity to listen and learn a little bit more about that prospect, that person, and allows them to be able to steer them in that direction of, what's the next thing that they can be able to look at. And let me tell you, it closes the deal so much better because you already have the relationship. If you edify the expert and you edify the prospect, the three-way call is the glue. It's what holds everything together. And then what's really important is that your prospect, when they do become an associate, or if they become an associate, but they will through time, or they'll refer people to you through the membership if you do everything correctly. But they will remember that three-way call when when they come on board and you're talking to them about the process, and you say, hey, remember that time that Dani was on the phone and I had you guys introduce each other and chat with you? That's part of what it is that we do and how we do it. First and foremost, I wanted you to introduce you to Dani, and whether you joined or not, you got to meet a really cool person that thank goodness you joined. We're excited to have you. But you explain to them that's part of the process and they remember that. If you get them to watch a video or watch a Zoom, they're going to remember that. If you go to sit down with them and spend 2.5 hours with them and they only had an hour and they kept looking at their watch, they're like, there's no way I could do that in my spare time. That was torture. I was trying to get out of there, but if you can teach them to do the simple little things consistently over and over, that's where success comes from. Then you get them into Prospect by Legal Shield for life, right? You get them in there. They're in Prospect by Legal Shield. They're not going away. You can now put them into a campaign. You can put them into, send them more resources, but you got to get them into Prospect because they're going to be there. And Prospect continues to get better. So the more people that you have in Prospect by Legal Shield, the more people you can, have ease of access to. And then you're just going to follow up with them forever. I mean, you just build relationships with them. You build relationships with these people. You keep them in your pipeline. You keep them together, keep them organized as your friends. You continually just say, hey, how's life? How are things? What's going on? And that's how you can build a fortune in this company. So Ms. Dani Goeden, I appreciate you so much. And thanks for all the work that you all do each and every week to make this call run. And I'll send it back to you.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. And yeah, it does get easier when you start picking up the phone and just making the dials or doing the texts. And I
Wasn't that crazy though, people? I mean, we got over 200 names in 5 minutes.
Yep,
Imagine if you gave
insane.
yourself 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and then I always love it when, John Hoffman always says this, a no is they just don't know, KNOW, right? It took me 8 years to get somebody to get a membership once, but all I did was I continued to say hello to them and I continued to ask how they were doing and how their life was for 8 years. Now, I didn't always bring up Legal Shield. 9 times out of 10, I didn't bring up Legal Shield, but I kept my name in the spotlight. And eventually she was like, hey, I think I need that legal thing. And there it was. So it just a matter of being people's friends. So thanks, Timmer. I super appreciate that. I absolutely love your training. That is spot on. If you follow that training, you guys, you will be executive directors. I mean, really, it's that simple. It's that simple. All right, Steve, I'm going to hand it back to you to stop the recording and share a video for tonight. Thanks, everybody.